So I would like to thank 3AI for giving me this time to present on an important topic of auditing of AI systems. In these times of political agendas, the corporate agendas, the country's agendas, talking about AI investment, data centers, and so on and so forth, it's critical to ensure that risks are audited, mitigated, so that the dream of AI is achieved. So in my talk for the next few minutes, I would like to talk about three type of areas, which is about the model risks, what sort of risks and audits can be done at a model level, and the data aspect of things in terms of what are the risks and what are the audits can be done at data level, what can go wrong at the data level, which can be monitored, and over and above at a system level, at an infrastructure level, what is the scope of audit which we can do. So integrating all these facets, one can probably be confident that AI system is working appropriately, and this is a concerted effort which will help us to mitigate the financial losses. But as we speak, AI models are in production, but a lot of failures also occur, a lot of legal cases occur, a lot of insurance are on the rise. So it's my attempt to give you a perspective of both the technical aspect, the business aspect of things, and overall what are the various aspects are required to help you mitigate the risks associated with AI development processes. First and foremost, if I can talk about the adversarial attacks in a model. Model is an underlying principle in AI systems. One of the very popular techniques is to exploit the model's weaknesses. So one of the techniques they use, they have a strategic minimal alteration to the input so that the model gives you a wrong kind of an output. So what is important here is to evaluate the model's performance and make sure that the model's weaknesses are clearly understood prior to the go live a particular exercise. One of the libraries which is effectively used is called a full-box library with offered by Python. The full-box library perturbates the whole exercise and makes sure that the model's vulnerabilities are clearly established and governed in a certain manner. The second type of attack I would probably want to bring to attention is extraction attack. Extraction attack is a manner in which the customer or the customer queries the model continuously to ensure that the model parameters, the feature importance are basically gathered. Extraction attack is very critical, which can also be used to replicate a model. So what is typically happening is that the competitors can extract the features of the model to understand the features, the gradient weights and things like that to actually get the model replicated and have a further attack coming your way later on. The third type of attack is going to be the inversion attack. So inversion attack happens when I want to understand the nature of the training data. So I keep giving multiple queries to the training data, which will help me to understand what sort of data upon which the model is being created. So if you have these toolboxes such as full box toolkit, the privacy measure toolkit, the text attack toolkit, which are coming part of a Nemo guardrails and all these things, which will help you to understand whether these models are performing in a certain manner. There are vulnerabilities in the model and how to actually protect the model in terms of its deviations. Moving ahead on the data level attacks, so I can poison a particular database in the sense that a training data is going to be used for developing various type of models and things like that. So poisoning a data involves to inject malicious data into the training data sets, to injecting a spam, injecting a different type of data sets, making sure the medical records are being tweaked and things like that. So one of the popular libraries which are emerging is called the Trojan Zoo. So Trojan Zoo help you to, it's one of the framework to detect the poison samples which are not in conformity with the other. Then you look at a membership inference. Membership inference attacks is a particular attack when a particular data point of the training set. So if you look at a data point of a training set, which will make sure that a training set is not performing as being planned in a certain manner. Then you can inject prompts into your LLM models, which will give you the wrong kind of output. So we have a lot of learning, a lot of use cases, a lot of acts coming in terms of how do we protect and detect these mechanisms. So the popular methodology is definitely going to be your guardrails. Nemo guardrails, one of the popular methodologies. The Python libraries are attacking in terms of your the popular libraries are Fullbox, your Trojan zoos, your knockoff nets, your privacy meters, your GAN related things, and More importantly, from a LangChain perspective, there's a very important libraries called text attack, which helps you to understand what type of attacks are emerging in these models and how to detect and correct them as we look along. If you can integrate these models as a part of your package, as part of your software offering, it gives you a much better leverage rather than doing it at the later end of the model development process where your model is always in production. Now, moving on to the infrastructure layer. What typically happens, say, for example, you're running a data center, it's important to configure your base command manager to detect certain anomalies where your job run anomalies are there, your GPU anomalies are there. Imagine a situation where you're servicing a customer where your compute is going to be an issue. So whenever the compute is getting an issue, the job command managers can help you in a certain manner. Kubernetes crashes. So having a GPU allocation, a failing over system, because imagine a system where you're going to have robotics handling your processes or anything kind of medical processes happening. It's important to have a follower or failover systems where these Kubernetes AI workloads can be managed in terms of a failover allocation. So if you have these TensorRT with NVIDIA's at the level of inferencing, so while there are a lot of investments happening in the growth of an AI system, the equal investments are happening in terms of how to detect anomalies so that your business grows as we plan. In the closing, there is a technical debt for any AI, any AI. It's just not the model alone. It's just not the infrastructure alone. There are a whole host of issues concerning an AI development process. So I need to test my adversarial models. I need to test all of my systems so that my model which I put in my production is robust enough. It cannot be attacked by any of the forces, any of the processes. My data in which I've trained my model is not being poisoned, infected, and so on and so forth. And I have a good data governance process in place which will ensure that my data is not being poisoned, which are not being inflicted by a lot of other areas. It's very important in these legal terms to have a model which is going to be explainable in nature. So it's absolutely important that the AI community establishes models which can be explained. I think neural nets are difficult to explain, but the earlier models are easier to explain. So how we ensure that the model is explainable in terms of any risks associated with certain model deployment comes to a very safe hearing. And then you look at your guardrails. So LLM are upper on the rise. So ensuring that the LLMs are protected, we have certain type of guardrails in place. The jailbreaks are protected. The red teaming teams come into place in a certain manner. So if you can see, this AI development process has got a lot of risk associated. So it's not a one team, one effort coming your way, but if you can combine yourself, if you can invest in this particular area of an AI audit to develop tools, infrastructure, technology, and standards. Even if you look at the UAE government, is looking for ethics, guardrail systems. So we don't see sufficient number of software or technology offering which can audit an AI system. So, in my opinion, I think it's a very important area which we can focus on, which will help not only nations and corporates, but the overall AI community to benefit of the AI revolution. I think let's explore and implement it. If I can leave one last message, let's explore and implement it. So the AI audit is not a one department responsibility. I think it should be responsibility embedded across the AI life cycle process. And with this, I would like to thank 3AI for giving me one more opportunity. And I wish you all the best. Thank you.